Today, I want to talk to you about something very common, something many older adults do without thinking, something that feels natural, even comforting, touching the neck, rubbing it when it feels tight, massaging a sore spot after a long day, pressing an area that feels tense, hoping it will relax. Most people believe this is harmless, a simple way to ease discomfort, and for many, it is. But there is an important detail almost no one explains. There is one specific area on the neck that deserves extra caution, especially as we get older. Not because the body is weak, not because you're doing something wrong, but because the body changes with age, and some systems become more sensitive than we expect. I've seen many people surprised by this. People who were careful in every other part of their life. They watched their diet. They stayed active. They followed advice. They tried to do the right things. Yet they were never warned about this one small habit. Before I explain what this area is, I want to tell you a story. Not to scare you, but to help this information stay with you. Let me tell you about a man named Richard. Richard was in his 70s, recently retired, quiet, thoughtful. Like many people who spent years working at a desk, Richard had ongoing neck tension, stiffness that never fully disappeared. Some days it was mild. Other days it pulled sharply from the side of his neck into his shoulder. It was annoying, distracting, sometimes exhausting. Richard paid attention to his health. He checked his blood pressure regularly. He followed the guidance he was given. He stayed active in simple, steady ways. From the outside, everything looked balanced. The neck tension was the one thing that bothered him daily. And over time, Richard developed a routine. Whenever the tightness became uncomfortable, his hand would move to the same spot on his neck. Almost automatically, he would press his fingers into the sore area, hold for a few seconds, sometimes massage gently in small circles. At first, there was discomfort, then relief. That relief made the habit stronger. Press, hold, release. He did this while watching television, while reading, while sitting quietly, several times a day, every day. To Richard, this felt like simple self-care. Nothing medical, nothing risky. What he didn't know was that this particular spot was not just muscle. Beneath the surface, important signals pass between the neck and the brain. Signals that help regulate how the body responds to changes in pressure. In some people, especially later in life, these signals can become overly reactive. When that happens, pressing this area doesn't calm the body. It confuses it. The reaction can be sudden, strong, and completely unexpected. Richard had no way of knowing this. His daily routines looked fine. His regular measurements looked fine. Nothing warned him that something inside his body was reacting very differently than he assumed. So the habit continued, day after day, month after month, until one evening, when the tension in his neck felt stronger than usual. That evening felt ordinary at first. Richard had spent the day moving around the house, organizing things in the garage, bending, reaching, using muscles he hadn't used in a while. By the time he sat down to rest, his neck felt unusually tight. The familiar pulling sensation on the side of his neck was stronger than normal. Turning his head felt restricted, uncomfortable. Without thinking much about it, he raised his hand and pressed the same spot he always did. At first, nothing changed. So he pressed a little longer, a little firmer. He waited for the usual release. Instead, he noticed something different. A strange feeling began to build in his head. Not sharp at first, more like internal pressure. He stopped pressing and lowered his hand. took a breath, expected the feeling to pass, but it didn't. Within moments, the sensation intensified. His head felt heavy, unbalanced. He tried to stand up, but his movements felt awkward, slower than usual. When he tried to speak, the words didn't come out the way he expected. His wife noticed immediately that something wasn't right. His face looked different. His responses were delayed. She acted quickly and called for help. When assistance arrived, one detail stood out. His blood pressure was far higher than what he typically experienced. When asked what he had been doing just before this started, the answer was simple. He had been pressing the side of his neck. Later, when things had stabilized, an explanation was given. On the front sides of the neck are areas that play an important role in how the body senses and adjusts internal pressure. These areas send constant feedback to the brain. In some individuals, external pressure on this zone can confuse the system. Instead of adjusting smoothly, the body may react abruptly. Blood pressure can rise very quickly, then settle again once the pressure stops. Because this reaction happens fast and may not cause pain right away, it often goes unnoticed. Many people never realize it happened. Richard never realized it either. Over time, repeated strong reactions can place stress on the system, especially when the body has already become less flexible with age. That evening, the response was stronger than before. The effects were serious. Richard's ability to move freely was affected. His speech became limited. Daily activities were no longer easy or independent. He survived, but his life changed in ways he never expected. Later, his wife said something that stayed with me. "We were careful about so many things. We just didn't know about this." That sentence is the reason I'm sharing this with you. Not everyone will have this kind of reaction. Many people never do. But there is no simple way to know in advance who is sensitive and who is not. That's why awareness matters. In the final part, I'll explain clearly where this sensitive area is, what to avoid, and what safer alternatives you can use if your neck often feels tense. Now let's talk calmly and clearly about what matters most. There's a specific area on the neck that deserves extra care, especially after the age of 50 or 60. This area is located on the front sides of the neck, not the back. It sits close to the center of the neck, near where you feel your throat, and slightly to either side. If you place your fingers on the middle of your neck and then move them gently to the side, you are near this sensitive zone. Under the surface in this area run major blood vessels, along with sensors that help the body monitor pressure and balance. These sensors constantly send information to the brain. In many people, they work quietly and smoothly. But in some, especially with age, they can become overly reactive. When firm pressure is applied from the outside, the body may misread the signal. Instead of responding gently, it may react too strongly. This reaction can happen very fast, and because it often passes once the pressure stops, many people never connect the cause and effect. That's why I recommend a simple rule. Avoid pressing or massaging the front sides of your neck. Not forcefully, not deeply, not for extended periods. This includes self-massage and professional massage. The challenge is that this area can feel like muscle. It can feel sore. It can feel tight. But you cannot reliably tell by touch alone whether you are pressing a sensitive structure underneath. So caution is the safest approach. If your neck feels tense, there are safer alternatives I recommend. You can gently work with the back of the neck, along the muscles near the spine. That area does not contain the same sensitive structures. You can use warmth, a warm shower, A warm compress for a few minutes. You can do slow, comfortable movements, gentle turns, small stretches without forcing anything. If you see a massage therapist or bodywork specialist, it's important to speak up. You can simply say, "Please avoid the front sides of my neck." You don't need to explain further. A good professional will respect that immediately. If someone insists or dismisses your concern, I recommend choosing someone else. Your comfort and safety always come first. Richard's story is not about blame. It's not about doing something wrong. It's about missing information. Many people take excellent care of themselves and still aren't told about small habits that can matter. My goal in sharing this is not to create fear. It's to help you make informed, thoughtful choices. Your body is wise. It communicates constantly. Sometimes it just needs us to listen a little more carefully. If this information was helpful, keep it in mind. You may never need it, but knowing it gives you one more way to take care of yourself. Thank you for spending this time with me. Be gentle with your body and choose what supports you best.